morning from London. This is the 4th edition of the Serial Killer exhibition, and we are in Waterloo for the opening, the grand opening of the Serial Killer exhibition in London. We are opening in 15 minutes. There's quite a few people already. As you can see, the place itself is very interesting. It's some call it the Bansky Tunnel for some reason. I'm not sure there's a Bansky art on the wall, but it's a place where people do graffiti and express themselves. And I'm gonna show you around. So all those are pre-sales. As you can see, it's quite an interesting place to set up the expo. There we are inside the Serial Killer exhibition, and I will lead you on a tour, show you what's new. Follow me. This is the first room of the expo. Like in the other sessions, this room is an opening act showing you where the term serial killer comes from, with a few mock shots and a few facts. So this is the very first room. And then we are arriving to the Jack the Ripper exhibition. So since it's London, it's the very first thing you see when you arrive at the expo. If you've seen me and my other videos, you've seen this before. It's extremely graphic, but it sets the mood for the rest. Here are a few other items related to the Ripper, but I'm especially proud of that one, which is not the Ripper per se, but a copycat, a French copycat called Joseph Vacher, the Southeast Ripper. And I just wrote a book about him that I have translated into English. So if you want to read more about Joseph Vacher, the Ripper, which by the way had a bigger body count than the Jack the Ripper, and the crimes themselves were extremely gruesome. So if you want to discover this case, get this book. Next, we have Peter Sutcliffe. And Herb Baumeister. So Herb is a new addition to the expo. It's one of the objects I brought. As you can see, it's written collection of Nico Claux. It's a Czech that was used to buy diazinon, which was an insecticide. We are arriving at the exhibition showing the house and the crimes of Leonardo Cianciulli, the soap maker of Correggio in Italy. Very fascinating crime, which with a mix of the occult and cannibalism. And we wanted to show the British audience something different to start with. But then we are coming right into Ed Gein's house with an outstanding mannequin design created by my friend Guillaume from Cannibal Design. As you can see, it's extremely realistic. Guillaume is an artist for television and cinema, so he's used to working with silicone. It's definitely a great addition to the exhibition. Look at all those details. Next, we are arriving to a few new additions that I made to the expo, starting with Onoplienko. So as some of you might know, I have written several books on the subject of Russian serial killers, so it was my personal mission to add new serial killers, Russian serial killers to the expo. Onoplienko was a Ukrainian. This is a wristwatch that I got from a journalist who actually knew him. He was a close friend of Onoplienko. He actually participated to the book I wrote on him. And this watch was given to this friend as a token of friendship. But the thing is, the watch actually belonged to one of the victims that he killed. And my friend, journalist, Stanislav Danilin, didn't know this back then. And he had actually he gave him several watches like this. This is one of the watches. As you can see, there's a Russian alphabet on it. Very, very cool item. It's extremely rare to have anything from Onoplienko, so I'm really proud of it, this edition. And thank you, Danilin. This is another thing that we decided to add. It's a reproduction of the chess game of Alexander Pichushkin, the chessboard killer. So it's one of my favorites too, in terms of Russian serial killers. Extremely fascinating fact. And if you know the story, each chess represents a victim. So he had 61 victims to his scorecard, if you will, and there was only 3 remaining victims left. But he said that if he had reached the 63rd, he would have bought a bigger chessboard. So, interesting case. There we have a new one here, specially made for the expo. John A. He dissolved his victims into acid. Interesting case. As you can see, we tried to reproduce the outfit he was wearing while doing this. Here, well, if you've seen the other videos, you've seen him before. It's Karl Denke. And a new edition, also from my collection. It's a letter that Danny Rowling wrote to me. Extremely interesting. So, collection of Nico again. Danny Rowling was one of my favorite pen pals. You might know the case because it inspired the movie Scream. This is an extension of the Burdala section. So there's the saw that we purchased from Devon from darkmemoria.com. So Devon is specialized in Burdala items. If you're looking for Burdala items, definitely go to his website, hit him up, tell him I sent you. This is a very amazing object. It was used to cut up one of his victims. And you can see there's the police sticker on it. Here we have paintings, a little deco that I like, a bathtub filled with blood, and there on the corner the dirty mattress where his victims were lying. We are arriving to 2 new additions to Randy Kraft, the scorecard killer, with 16 confirmed and 67 possible victims. He would strangulate them, torture them to death. A very dark case, a very twisted individual, Randy Kraft. And is this one of my letters? I can't remember. No, it's not. It's from my collection, that's for sure. But it's not addressed to me. But I'm pretty sure I have a letter that was addressed to me in my collection. This is one of my favorites, of course. Courtesy of Sandra London, my friend Sandra, who gave me this ring. What Schaefer called the serial killer death ring. So he told Sandra that he actually got this ring from another serial killer who was in prison with him in Florida. So it might have been Otis Toole, it might have been Gerald Stano, we don't know. But it's a very interesting artifact because it actually belonged to two serial killers. One is for sure Gerard Schaefer, and the other one, well, it's up to imagination since only Schaefer knows, and he was killed in prison. And this is a copy of his book, Killer Fiction. I highly recommend the book, one of the best books ever. And this is my friend Sandra with Schaefer. Very cool display. I'm really proud of that one. And now the pièce de résistance for all you Night Stalker K fans. Richard Ramirez. So I had this in Rome already. There's nothing I added except a copy of his baseball cap, you know, to make it more like dramatic. But what's new is the mannequin from Guillaume. Cannibal design, extremely cool mannequin with the hand. And the knife in his hand, but we don't want to point it at the visitors, of course. We don't want them to hurt themselves. The Bundy corner, you probably know it already if you've seen my videos. BTK. So I dressed up the mannequin of BTK. It's based on that photo, in case you're wondering. What a sick fuck. Let's go upstairs. And we are greeted with Pogo. Pogo greets us with a magnificent mask from Rick Fisher. He makes amazing masks in latex. Very cool. So Pogo was facing downwards, so you would actually see him when we were walking up, but the promoter decided to turn him because people were too scared, which I can understand, since Pogo would bury his victims in his crawl space like this. And there's your skull clown for you, an original painting. I checked the other side of the painting. There's a serial number, it's a Fredericks, so it's totally legit. Then we have our boy, Dama. We built a special case display for the glasses that we got through Taylor. They were in the Dama collection. If you're familiar with my channel, you know what it's about and how Taylor got the glasses. Taylor was in Rome with me, bringing the glasses. Here they are, protected in double layer of glass. And a bust by my friend Guillaume, again. And then, one of my favorites too, Il Mostro di Firenze. Last but not least, my little corner there, which every single episode of the serial killer exhibition is getting bigger and bigger. And what's new is this device here that I actually used. If you know my case, well, you know what it was used for. And it's property of Phil Kyle from Opus Magnum Tattoo, France. My friend Phil Kyle, who was kind enough to give us this Minitel for the expo. And here, new paintings that are featured in the Cannibal Cookbook 2. So there's Chanchuri on one side and Bishkov, a Russian cannibal, on the other side, and the cover of the book, the actual paintings. As you can see, there's nothing better than self-promo. So here we go. Also a great addition to the expo, the David Harker flyer, signed flyer that I got. I'm probably one of the few people on earth to actually have something like that. Really interesting case if you don't know it. Cannibal. And here we have a reproduction of the Chikatilo tools and my pen pal Arthur Shawcross that with a letter that he sent me. As you can see here, I used to correspond with him for quite a while, and I'm still in touch with his daughter, and we are probably will be doing a book together. So let's fast forward to something I want to show you, which is extremely interesting. Okay, we call this new room the fantasies of serial killers. For example, to illustrate the fantasies of American serial killers, we have David Parker's raised torture box, Israel Keyes were a bucket. He would hide those buckets in several states in the US, and he would use them, he would bury them and get the tools inside and use the tools to commit his crimes. Very cool thing. Here we have a reproduction of Albert Fish torture instruments. Behind me there's a BTK chair designed by GTK, actually built from one of his drawings. You can see that he would have loved to put women's breasts on this thing and torture them with the electrodes. And the pièce de résistance, Damer's Altar, which was one of our ideas with my friend Robert Paparella, who actually built this. It's an amazing, amazing object. And, well, I'll let you watch. One of the last things that I added to the expo, and it was an idea that was close to my heart, was a display on hybristophilia. Unfortunately, it's not spelled that way. There's an H in the beginning. But well, sometimes there's little fuck-ups like this. So let's start with this. There's a newspaper and a letter signed by Jody Arias, a little display on laundry. Letters from the Night Stalker himself with a shameless plug on my book on the subject, and a shameless plug again with Taylor's book, and actual letters that were sent to Jeffrey Dahmer and were found in his cell. All right. That was a quick tour. The best is that you come over to the expo. It's in London. until January. I will be back to the expo at the end of January. So if you want a signed book or whatever, or photo, come, just check out my social media, and we will talk. Cheers.